What's up, family? Man, I want to have a heart to heart with you guys today. Man, this is going to be triggering for some of you. You know what I mean? It is what it is, and it's going to be what it's going to be. We have to grow up. We have to grow up. Man, I'm a bag of mixed emotions right now. You know what I mean? I'm in a great mood, man. A beautiful day. You know what I mean? I got some great news this morning or this afternoon that I've been waiting on over 3 months. You know, I've been waiting to hear this for over 3 months. And man, it finally came down today. You know, and it's like, man, I needed that, you know? And right afterwards, man, I was talking to a friend of mine and he told me that somebody that we cared about, somebody that we was friends with, man, a young man passed away today. You know, and it completely took us by surprise. It was shocking news. It's devastating news, you know what I mean? And that kind of just like, But then I could hear God say, man, hold up, wait a minute. You waited 3 months to hear whoop, whoop, whoop. Don't allow this situation right here to rob you of your joy, to rob you of your peace. You know what I mean? You waited a long time to hear this information. You got the news that you wanted to hear. You got the information you wanted to hear. You could chill now, but don't allow, this information to rob you of your peace of mind, of your joy. And that's what so many of us do. You know what I mean? We're in a good mood, great frame of mind, and somebody will come in with some bullshit, some negativity, and they'll fuck off our whole day. Stay with me, I'm going somewhere. And they'll mess up our whole fucking vibe with their toxic ass bullshit. We got to grow up. We have to grow up. And the trip is, this young lady, I'm cooking something to eat, and this young lady, man, sent me this video by NF When I Grow Up. And I'm not really into rap, but I watched the video, right? And so I'm sitting there and I'm watching the video and I'm thinking and I'm hearing God, man, you got to talk about this when I grow up. When I grow up. And it's a trip because, man, and when anytime you hear a kid say, man, when I grow up, I'm going to be da-da-da-da-da. I'm going to do. Well, I always say when I grow up, man, I was going to be a psychologist. I can't say I can't even say the word. I wanted to be a psychologist when I grew up. You know what I mean? I want to work with people in their minds. Stay with me. I'm going somewhere. But for the most part, when you hear kids talk, when you hear people saying, what I want to do when I grow up, when I grow up, I'm gonna, and the list is endless. But the great majority of the times when you hear these kids say what they're gonna do when they grow up, it's always related to a career. It's always related to a job. How are they going to make money? How are they going to support themselves and their families? Stay with me, I'm going somewhere. As a kid, what are they going to do when they grow up? What are you going to do when you grow up? You never hear anybody say, I'm going to heal myself from all the trauma that I've endured as a kid. You never hear anybody say, man, I'm going to find peace. I'm going to pursue happiness. I'm going to pursue joy. It's always something related to money, related to a job. So as kids, we're programmed and indoctrinated. Man, grow up. When you grow up, man, you got to think about money. When you grow up, man, you got to be hitting the ground running in your career, your job. And you never hear parents and people talk about when you grow up, before you grow up, let's heal some of this trauma. Let's break some of these generational curses. Let's deal with your daddy issues. Let's deal with your mama issues. Let's deal with your abandonment issues. Let's deal with your rejections. Let's deal with your fears and insecurities. Let's deal with your self-hatred and low self-esteem. Let's deal with your codependency issues. Oh, we're going in today. We're going in. I'm just laying the groundwork. When I grow up, when we grow up, why is it that we have to grow up and we never taught to grow up emotionally? We're taught to grow up and get a job, grow up and get a career, grow up and go to school, grow up and get a house, excuse me, grow up and get a car. But we're never taught to emotionally grow. And so we never grow. Because we think all it takes to be grown is to have a job. I'm 18 years old. I'm grown. I got a car. I got my own baby. I got woo-doo-doo. I'm grown. You're grown physically. You're not grown emotionally. And if the truth be told, you're physically grown and you're an emotional wreck. You're an emotional kid. You're stuck in your childhood emotionally. You're emotionally immature. But we're always talking about when I grow up. And the trip is, now that the great majority of us grown, we say we grown, we wish we could go back and be a fucking kid again. See, because we associate being grown with having to pay bills. We associate being grown with having to be responsible and pay for this and pay for this and work over here and put all this time into working for somebody else. We put all this time into going to school and learning some useless ass fucking information. When I grow up. It's amazing how death kind of brings you back into balance. Death, hearing somebody die. Man, stay with me, I'm on track still. Hearing somebody die. Hearing that somebody that you knew, that you respected, that you valued, knowing that they died. And it wasn't, you didn't know they were sick. It just happened. It just happened. It's amazing how when we hear information like that, it gives us a pause. It makes us stop in our track to reflect on our life. Especially if they're our age or if they're younger than us. It makes us sit back and like, oh my God. I was talking to a young lady the other day. I was just telling me how her friend had passed away in his early 30s. Just baby kid. He got a little baby. And he was shot outside his apartment building. And it makes you stop and think about life. It makes you think about, dang, what's going on? Am I doing what I'm supposed to do? Am I where I'm supposed to be at? What's going on? How come I'm not happy? How come I really don't have joy? How come I really don't have peace? Man, if I was to die right now, man, what would happen? What would happen? What would happen to my kids? What would happen? And the trip is, because we're grown now, we understand that if we was to die now, within a couple of days, your job would be looking to have you replaced. In a couple of days. The process to replace your ass would have already begun. And you haven't even been put in the ground yet. And they're already trying to get you replaced. And we know that. And so when we hear that somebody close to us has passed away, we start reflecting on our life. As we should. But unfortunately, so many people pass away and we become immune to it. It doesn't even faze us anymore. People die all the time. Every day somebody dying. And so we don't really reflect on our life like we should. We don't make the appropriate changes in our life like we should. We don't ask God what the message is like we should. Because it's so normal. When I grow up. And see, the trip is, as kids, we always thought that we would be happy when we grew up. Especially if you grew up in a toxic household. You grew up in a household where there was always arguing and fighting and bickering. Oh man, I ain't doing that shit. You know what I mean? I'm never arguing and fighting in front of the kids. I'm never yelling at my kids. And we have all these things we say because we're experiencing it. And so when we grow up, man, I'm going to get a job. I'm going to get my own place. I'm going to have my own car. And man, I'm going to have fun. But the truth is, we don't know how to have peace. We don't know how to have joy. We really don't know how to be happy. So what's the point? What's the purpose of growing up? What's the point of growing up if you're not going to be happy? If you're going to be miserable and toxic? Because reality, the only thing that's growing up on you is your body. You're getting old physically. Emotionally, you haven't grown at all. And the trip is, you can have all the education you want. You could have grown as much as you could have 3 doctorate degrees and still not have grown emotionally. You could have all the money in the world and still not have grown up emotionally. You can have everything at your fingertips and still be miserable, still be lonely, still be frustrated, still be depressed, still have low self-esteem. because you never grew up emotionally. You never grew up emotionally. And it's fucked you up. And the trip is, it didn't just fuck you up. It's fucked your kids up. It's fucked up those around you. Because you refuse to grow up emotionally. See, when you grow up emotionally, you have a positive impact on the lives of those around you. When you stay toxic and negative, you have a negative impact on the lives of those around you. The problem with the great majority of this, we're negative and we don't even realize it. We're toxic as fuck and don't even realize it. We don't realize how immature emotionally we are. We have no clue. We think we're deep, we think we're woke, we think we're spiritual, and all that other stuff. And the truth is, we're emotionally illiterate. We're an emotional wreck. And we have no clue. Because we've never learned how to connect with God emotionally. We've never learned how to process our feelings and our thoughts and to dive deep into our subconscious mind. We've never learned how to grow emotionally through whatever we've gone through. What many of us do, we become hardened. We become bitter. We become tainted, toxic. We become untrusting. And so we don't want to fuck with people no more. We don't want to fuck with love anymore because we're tired of being hurt. We're tired of being dogged out. And so we give up. Fuck love. Love ain't for me. We have to grow up. We have to grow up. And the trip is, when you grow up emotionally, it changes everything. See, you could grow up physically, you could grow up intellectually, and although you have all the money to do whatever you want, if you haven't put in the work to grow emotionally, all that money, all the toys, all the houses, all the cars, all the vacations ain't gonna help you. All the titles, all the positions, all of the accolades, they're not gonna help you. You're gonna have to grow emotionally. And here's the trap. When you grow emotionally, whether you have money or not, the world changes for you. When you grow up emotionally, whether you have $1 million, $1 billion, whether you have your own house, your own car, none of that shit matters when you grow up emotionally. When you grow up emotionally, man, you have everything at your disposal. When you grow up emotionally, you have peace of mind. When you grow up emotionally, you have that joy that people can't understand. When you grow up emotionally, you have that happiness that people can't understand. They look at you, you're broken, busted. How the fuck are you gonna be happy and you just can't explain your happiness? And they're looking at you because money makes them happy. So they think, man, having all these women, having all these cars, all these toys, and what do man, that's what satisfies them. So they think it don't really satisfy them. It satisfies their ego, but it doesn't satisfy them emotionally, if the truth be told. And so they can't understand, why are you so fucking happy? Why is it you could sit there, not have shit, not have anybody in your life, and still be happy and grateful and positive and loving and nurturing? You got all these people misunderstanding you. You got all these people walking out of your life, and you're still happy and you're still filled with love and hope. How the fuck is that possible? Because it comes with emotional maturity. You can't explain that. There's no words to help people understand what true joy is. There's no words that you can use to describe that joy that passes all understanding. In spite of my circumstances, I have that peace. In spite of my circumstances, I have that joy. In spite of my circumstances, man, I'm happy. In spite of my circumstances, man, I'm full of love and compassion. It goes against everything logically. But when you've grown emotionally, everything changes. When you grow up emotionally, you'll understand how really powerful you are. See, you don't have to have titles and money to make you powerful. See, you got that emotional maturity and have more influence, more power than the rich. They got power. They got power. But they ain't got the power that you have. And you can't understand that until you grow up emotionally. There's this power that comes with knowing who you are. And unfortunately, the great majority of us already think we know who we are. We think we know. And we're really clueless. We have no idea the power we have. We have no idea the influence that we have. We have no idea at all. Jesus calmed the weather. Jesus calmed the storm. I'm reminded of my Jamaican friend, Winston Smith. He was in the Air Force with me. And they forecasted heavy rain. Heavy rain. You could smell the water in the air. But he was going to move on this day. And he asked me to come help him move. And I'm looking at the clouds, and it's like, man, bro, it's about to be a downpour, you know what I mean? And he looked at the clouds, and he looked at me. And Winston was, we called him Stone. Had a great influence on my life. Great influence on my life. And he looked at the clouds, and this is back in '94. 94, 95. He said, do you think it's going to rain? I was like, yeah. Everybody knows it's going to rain. It don't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. You know what I mean? Everybody knows it's going to rain, bro. And he went like this. It's not going to rain. I don't know what he said, but I know he went like that with his hands. And he said it wasn't going to rain. It didn't rain. It did not rain that day. We moved all his stuff out and moved it into his new place. And it didn't rain. And the trip is, because I saw him go like this, you would assume that just the motion of like this is going to stop the rain. But it's deeper than that. It's deeper. And see, that's the thing with martial arts. That's the thing when you do something. And people don't really understand. They watch your videos and they see what you do physically, but they don't understand the emotional aspect. They don't understand the spiritual connection. They don't understand that you're saying something to the universe without even opening your mouth. You're speaking something to the universe without even uttering a word, and the universe hears your command. When you know how powerful you are, you don't have to fight. When you know how powerful you are, you could just walk in your power, walk in your authority. But we don't do that for the most part because that's grown people stuff. That's grown folk stuff. And the great majority of us are not grown folk. The great majority of us have not grown up emotionally to be able to do these things. And so we never understand our power. We never really understand our purpose. We think our purpose is just to get a job. Our purpose is just to make money. Our purpose is to buy stuff and pay bills. When we grow up. When I grow up. Man. When you grow up emotionally, you understand that your purpose is to continue growing up emotionally and helping others grow emotionally. When you grow up emotionally, you understand that your purpose is not about how much money you make. It's not about how big your house is, how big your cars are, how deep your pockets are. When you grow up emotionally, you understand, man, we're here to heal ourselves and to help others learn how to heal themselves as well. Man, I love you guys. Happy healing. Peace.